outside in the morning screaming, believing it could be so right, 'cause you know that you're mine, baby. Yes, you are. Still you're in my dreams. Not constantly. Not constantly. You're perfect love. You're perfect love. Are you kidding me, baby? You're perfect love. You're perfect love. Oh, listen to girl. Through the day and the night, dreaming of you, baby. Here with the love that feels so right. I know it's hazy, but maybe. Oh.
Quiero olvidarte de mi sacarte, pero no puedo.
But believe me enough
To be eternally.
eternally. You're perfect love. You better believe me, baby. You're perfect love. Are you kidding me, girl? You're perfect love. Amor, te quiero. Ti amo para siempre, amor. Te voglio bene, amor. Thank you. Gracias. Got me started. You know that I will love you. Lately since we parted, I truly know that I need you. I give it all up for 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 you. Totally broken-hearted, guilty of what I did to you. Lately since we parted, I truly know that I needed you. Yes, I do, because I give it all up for you. 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 I give it all up for you.
Yes,
I give it all up for you.
Yes,
I give it all up for you.
Yes,
I give it all up for you.
So we're in 2005 and Simplified, and as you constantly, and you must constantly reinterpret songs because you play live so regularly, how different is it doing it for an album when you decide to do that?
Well, this is actually a slightly peculiar project, Simplified, because it started out being one thing, and then it morphed into something else, and then it morphed into something else. So it ended up being an album of sort of three concepts, which left it slightly disjointed in a way. And while I'm very happy with many of the tracks individually, I sort of look at it and go, well, what exactly is this record? I don't quite get what it is actually meant to be, you know. And it kind of became something more relevant to me in that way, coherent, when we did the live DVD in Cuba, because then we brought out the Latino influence of some of the thing, you know, because is it a Latino album? Is it an unplugged album? Is it, you know, I still don't know what that album actually is, but I really love the string arrangements on some of the songs, and also the Latin tracks, Perfect Love. I love the version of Something Got Me Started because it's so different, you know. And also the song, the Leon Russell song, Song for You. I've always wanted to sing that song. I've loved the song since Ray Charles, since especially Donny Hathaway's version, which was the one I think I used as reference more than any other version.
The version of Fairground is very nicely chilled on this, though.
Yeah, yeah. Well, again, it's sort of, I mean, I almost wish in a way that the album was like an entirely ambient album, or it was an entirely Latino album, but it's not. It's kind of a bit of that and a bit of that and a bit of that all thrown in together, you know. Probably my least coherent album, but there's some very nice work on it. Really beautiful string arrangements and some good work from Andy Wright with the Latino stuff.
But it struck me listening to it again that all of the songs stand up so well. I mean, I guess it's a test of a great song that it can work in any number of interpretations.
I agree. You know, I'm not saying I'm unhappy with the tracks, but I do like things that, you know, in a way you can argue that you only get a certain amount of shots with a new album. You know, people want to know what it is. And if someone to ask me what that was, I wouldn't be able to give them a straight answer. I'd go, well, it's a little bit of this with a little bit of that and a little bit of this, and, you know. But altogether, there's some nice stuff on there.
Including your revisiting Holding Back the Years.
Yeah.
Can you remind us where you were in life as a person when you wrote it first for Picture Book? Because I think that was the first time you and I ever conducted an interview.
I started writing that song when I was 17 in my father's house, in my bedroom, and I'd just saved up to buy an acoustic guitar. I just got an acoustic guitar and I started to learn the chords, and I knew I just started to play E and A, so I was practicing going E, A, E, A. So then I could play I'm Waiting for the Man by Velvet Underground. So that got me started. And then the first song I wrote was called Ice Cream and Wafers, and that was just basically an A shape, and I lifted it off, doom, 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 like that. And then while I was messing around one day, I just sort of went like this, and it was like, then the A, and then all of a sudden, holding back the years, and then off we went. But bizarrely, I didn't come up with the chorus, the I'll Keep Holding Ons, until I was 24. So that was, goodness me, that was, I'm not very good at maths, that was like 7 years afterwards before I came up with the I'll Keep Holding Ons. So it's a very unusual song in that way.
How many times has it happened to you that you actually will remember a half worked through song such that you could go back to it and find the right chorus for it?
Well, the thing was, we'd recorded that song with my first band, the Frantic Elevators, so that it was always there. And my manager at the time, he said, you know, you should really do something with that song. So I did.
Lots of songs from the Stars album on this record, new versions, including Your Mirror, which was always a fantastic song.
Yeah, yeah. I particularly love the strings on that as well. Really, really lovely.
Stars was it a roller coaster? Can you describe what your life was like at that point?
Oh, the original recording?
Can you? Yes, I'm just sort of echoing back, sort of.
Well, I remember I had a house at that point. I was still living in Manchester. I had a house in Old Trafford, and I wrote the song upstairs. And again, we just finished a very long tour with the New Flame album, the tour for that, and I had quite a bit of time off, and it was during that time that I started writing songs for the Stars album. And I think, if I remember correctly, the Stars song was quite late in the list of songs that I'd written. Something Got Me Started was written very early. It was actually composed while we were on tour, and so Stars was done at that time in my room, and it was done in one go. I didn't revisit it. I wrote it all within a couple of hours, I think, and I didn't really know it was going to have the impact that it had. I just thought, well, that's nice, you know. And then, but interestingly, I should release those at some point. The demos that we made. Out of all the demos I did for the Stars album, that one is probably the closest to how the song actually ended up.
In the 90s, you had hits all the way through that decade in the face of dance music becoming enormous and Britpop apparently taking over the world. What was it like being, you know, so hugely successful alongside those young upstarts?
Well, I think that happens to every artist that has a long career. I remember it happening to the Rolling Stones and Led Zeppelin when punk happened. You know, by about 1977, 78, they couldn't get arrested for a couple of years because people were just looking the other way. You know, these phenomenally great bands were being kind of like looked over. And I sort of started to feel, hang on a minute, that's starting to happen to me now. I'm not sure I like this very much. But you just think, well, what can you do? You just get your head down and do, well, what do? I make the music that I make, and you just kind of get on with it, really. You know, I've noticed you get hit a lot, you get criticised a lot. The media also start to turn on you a little bit because it's almost natural in a way, because they want something new. You know, they always have the impression that the public wants something new. But then you know that it comes in phases, because at the same time people want something new, after a while they also want something reassuring. They also want to feel familiar, you know, they're back, oh great, they're back, you know, so there's always that. So it kind of rolls around, it comes back, it rolls around. It's all circles, really, you know.
And one of the things you said before we started up the conversation was you recently saw the Rolling Stones. If ever there was an example of people being glad to welcome them back every few years.
Oh, I just adore that band. I just adore them. I've been very fortunate enough to work with more than half of them on various occasions, doing shows, worked with Ronnie and Charlie, Bill, and it's just a thrill to know them, you know, to think that I'm friends with these guys, and, you know, my first album was theirs, and, you know, they even know I exist. I still, you know, you can't help but be a fan. At least I can't. I've always been sort of a bit starstruck with people that I admire.
Does it not become demystified because you know what this is now, having done this for 30 years? You know what the secrets are, don't you?
Well, it was nice when we just met each other I was in Abu Dhabi, and I was just with them before they went on stage, and we were just chatting about, well, you know, because there's this kind of peculiar sort of nervous energy that you have, because I saw Ronnie was just sort of pacing around, and Keith was just walking around. You're not going anywhere, you're just walking around. And that's exactly what I do before I'm on stage, because you're getting ready to go on and you think, well, what do I do now? What do I do? Do I sit down, or do I, just, what do I do? And so you've just got this peculiar kind of nervous energy as you go. And it was just quite nice to see guys who've been doing that for so many years still sharing that same kind of nervousness. It's almost it's like a kind of respect to the audience in a way, if you think about it, that you're still nervous in a way to wonder what you're going to do before you go on the stage.
Final song on Simplified was a song you revisited in '87, and it became such a huge hit. And I think you said earlier that about covers, that you have to be a fan of the songwriter, and if you're a fan of the artist, it's like a compliment to the artist and the songwriter. Every Time We Say Goodbye really was a huge hit when it first came round. What did it feel like to do it again for this record?
Well, I think people from Sinatra and Ella Fitzgerald and these great artists, they acknowledge that Cole Porter is one of the greatest songwriters that's ever lived, and it's also particularly beautiful when we are supposed to progress, aren't we? But when you look back at some of the work that he did in the 30s, the beautiful elegance of the melodies, the cleverness of the rhymes, and the kind of the beautiful imagery that the lyrics create. It was very tough actually choosing a Cole Porter song in 1987 when we first did that song with the Men and Women album, because in fact it was just so against the grain of what pop music was doing at the time. This is 1987. This is shoulder pads and kind of like neon coloured hair and stuff, and then I turn up with singing this Ella Fitzgerald song with a cello, basically with a piano and a cello, and it was a hit. I mean, extraordinary. In fact, the version that we did on Simplified is more conventional in a way. It's more like a jazz lineup: string bass, piano, and then Kev Robinson's beautiful flugel. It's a very nice version. I think in some ways I prefer the Simplified version, because it's a bit more. So in my sort of twisted world, slightly more authentic jazz than this sort of peculiar version that we did on Men and Women.
And finally, in the Simplified package, there are a bunch of songs recorded live in Cuba. Had you been to Cuba before that visit?
No, I hadn't. I'm glad I did, because it was an absolutely fantastic experience, because I knew that, within... Well, in fact, it's not fully changed yet, has it? It's not been fully absorbed by America yet. But I figured that I wanted to see it as it was, before it really changed dramatically. And it was a great experience, just wonderful. And we worked with several people, some dancers from there, also a contribution from some artists as well. And it was just a fantastic experience, and I think you see from the DVD that we made, we try and extract as much pleasure from that experience as we can with the visuals.
Did you get a sense that they were very... I mean, they obviously knew all the songs, I'm sure, but did you get a sense that they were starved of Western acts? I think you were the second Western act to play there. Were they hungry for the performance?
I wouldn't want to use those words, starved and hungry. I kind of... They're very proud people, and they've got a strong sense of individuality. And but one experience that we found quite funny on the first night was that we didn't realise the intense competition that there are between the islands of the Caribbean. We were a little bit naive, and I performed the Jamaican reggae song Night Nurse, Gregory Isaacs' Night Nurse, went down like a lead balloon. It was an absolute stinker. You know, I've never, that Lenny Bruce line, 2,000 people in oil painting, you know, it just was like, we didn't do that again. The second night we skipped that one.
It is, however, a great song.
Yeah, but not for the Cubans.
Have you been back many times since?
No. But I'm glad I had the experience. It's a lovely place, a very interesting place.